Welcome back to the first Inside Indiana overtime of the season. I'm Alex McCarthy, joined by Seth, who's our newest member of the team here. We are at Franklin Hall on IU's campus, where we attended a watch party on a huge big screen for IU's opening.
Huge.
Yeah, it was awesome. We were watching like 6 games at once. We watched Appalachian State and Tennessee. Anyway, IU wins 34-13 at Florida International. It's its 5th straight opening game win, and Indiana's won 8 of its last 9 non-conference games. Tonight, unlike a lot of those past wins, it was the defense much more so than it was the offense that won this game.
Yeah, it was getting sloppy in the third quarter. But 22 points for the Hoosiers in the fourth quarter, including one of their 2 defensive touchdowns. Richard Fant had a pick 6 early in the game, and in the fourth quarter, Tigre Scales had the pick 6 that kind of sealed the game for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, it was pretty much out of hand at that point, but that just kind of totally put an end to it and totally put it out of reach for FIU. And then Ben Bach added another one there at the end, an interception that was pretty meaningless in the whole whatever.
Let IU run the clock out.
Yeah, it let him just kind of finish the game, as we have Jordan Gusky, our old friend, in the background, photobombing us. But tonight was also significant because it was Richard Lagow's first. It was his first game as a Hoosier. He played the whole game, even though a lot of the drives did not really end well. Basically, they picked up a bunch of. They were eating up yards all game. They just weren't finishing drives for a lot of the game.
And especially towards the end of the second quarter and most of the third quarter, there were some calls maybe for Xander Diamont to be switched in, but Lagow picked it back up in the fourth quarter, and that really helped the stats out and helped his reputation out. Yeah,
he finished 18 of 27 for 240 yards and a touchdown through the air and on the ground. He ran for one too. So I guess he accounted for both of IU's offensive touchdowns. And that drive to start the fourth quarter that you mentioned, it was just, all game IU had looked like, it gets a little bit of momentum and then shoots itself in the foot. A lot of false start penalties.
But the penalties were killer tonight.
They were.
Indiana overcame them, but that's something that's going to have to improve before conference play.
Yeah, 9 penalties for 74 yards, and they were all of them seemed to come at a really terrible time. I think the first one was Tigre Scales'
the face
mask on what should have been a sack to end FIU's first drive, and it extends that drive, and FIU gets a field goal out of it. Then there are a couple times where IU had a false start on third down that made what should have been an easy third down into a difficult third down, and IU would not be able to pick it up and things like that. And but to start the fourth quarter, it just looked like a totally different offense. That first drive, I think it was 5 plays, 74 yards. It was just everything was working. 21-yard touchdown pass to Danny Friend to get in the end zone, and then a little end around to Ricky Jones to get the 2 points.
And then Lagow carried it himself, 6-yard touchdown, I think.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah, 6-yard touchdown, and that really put the game out of reach. 2-possession game late, or with about 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and Lagow also had really good rapport, we noticed, with Nick Westbrook. 6 receptions for 70 yards for him. Had a really big first half. And Westbrook started tonight because Simi Cobbs was suspended. He was one of 6 players suspended for tonight's game. It was Cobbs, safety Jake Attar, Ralph Green, Wesley Green, who was suspended indefinitely. He's the cornerback transfer from South Carolina, who very talented, but still is struggling to get on the field. Chase Dutra also suspended. So. Noah Padmore was also in there. So a lot of guys. It was very similar to last year where you kind of dropped those suspensions out of nowhere. But unlike last year, IU had a much easier time overcoming those suspensions and had a much easier time just winning tonight's game. Devine Redding, Indiana's running game was firing on all cylinders. 246 yards on the ground for IU. Redding played very well. He had 22 carries for 135 yards, but I thought Mike Majette
had a very good game. Did he end up getting over 100?
He was right there.
He had No, that
Exactly 100 yards.
Exact on the dot,
Yeah.
100 total yards. He had 46 rushing yards and 54 receiving yards. So real nice game from a Jet.
Yeah, and those two, the 54 receiving yards were only on 2 passes, and both of them went for, I think one was like 24.
And they were both in big spots. It felt like.
Yeah. They both just kind of
kept some drives going.
Yeah. It seemed to like flip the field and get, like you said, just get the momentum rolling.
Both times that Majette had a big reception, it seemed like IU got momentum rolling.
Yeah. So that was kind of what it was for IU, just getting a lot of contributions from a lot of different people. They'll continue to need that as Jordan Fuchs went down with an injury that didn't look good. Marcus Oliver went down with an injury. I don't know if he came back or not. It didn't look too serious. But a couple guys banged up for IU, and they'll need a lot of those kind of role-playing guys to step in and do well. But that's about it, I think, that we have for tonight. We're going to get out of here because it's late. It's a school night for one of us. So we're going to get out of here. But Indiana's back at home next Saturday, 4 p.m., Saturday the 10th, 4 p.m. against Ball State. We'll be there, and it's going to be fun. So thanks for watching, and have a good weekend.